All right, now this should work, hopefully. Welcome back, race fans, to Milwaukee Mile. We're here on lap 42.25. It's been the Joseph Kossi and Malika show until the caution came out with incident between the 33 and the 71 on the back straight, the 33 getting lapped. He got loose, made contact with 71 on the pit cycle there under that yellow. Kossi beat out Malika on the ensuing restart. Kossi got an amazing restart. Followed with the 95 and the 81, sending Malika back through the pack. Now Devin Smith dropping a little bit into the middle of the pack. Malika working his way forward, but still behind the 81 and the 88. I'm sorry for the parting coverage. Not entirely sure what's happening, but looks like now for sure we are back on the air. And good news with that. There's been battles up and down the running order. It really is sad that we're not able to catch all of it, but hopefully the remaining 185 laps, we should be hopefully incident-free.
Yeah, it looks like the 7 of Markle has caught the 81. Meanwhile, back in the pack, the 79 of AJ Prechette has just been passed by the 65 of Lingerfelt on the inside. Great battles going back here for the 7th, 8th, 9th positions. Also, Andrew St. Coeur is right there trying to take advantage of the 77 or 79 slipping back a little bit. Also in this battle is the 48 of Garrett Velzy.
Yeah, Garrett looking like he lost a little bit of traction there coming off of turn number 4. He's going to slip back a little bit. See, back up front, Malika still trying to chase down that 81. But the battle remains here. Prechette under heavy attack from the 93 of St. Coeur.
Prechette was making his way up the field a little bit earlier, was able to get past the 18 car of Joshua McClune there for a second, but it looks like he must have used up a little bit too much tire in doing so. If you do drive it in really hard into these turns, you can use a lot of more tire than you want to. However, if you just drive it normal, the tires should hang on a little bit longer than they did last week at Lucas Oil. As we say this, the 93 is able to pass the 79 for that 9th position.
St. Coeur making his way up the field now. He needs maybe a yellow or two, get himself back into the mix, but he might have something for these dogs later into the race. Other than actually the 7 of Malika is really closing on at 81 now. We'll see if we'll have anything for max service. The 71 of Jeremiah Stutzman, who's actually falling 1 lap down, possibly because of the damage. You hate to see it. Let's ride on board here with the 7 of Malika. Really closing on that back bumper now. Let's see what he has for service.
Maliko's driving it in really hard. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to save his tires that way, but he is trying to give it all it's worth to make up for that awful restart that he had after the caution.
Right. It would be something if he can just make his way back into the 2nd position. Try as he might. She's got a great exit there on the short. Now they'll maybe try to work too hard.
Yep, the 48 of Velzy completes the pass on AJ Prechette in the back of the pack. Prechette does look like he's used up a little too much tire. He's starting to fall back in the pack again.
Okay, back down to the 11th position. Last car, lead lap. Lloyd Solm sat in 12th. Glad to see him still on the lead lap this week. Fighting hard. Last week was just trying to feel out the track, and this time he feels a lot better about this track, and we'll see if I have anything later into the race.
Yeah, last week's track at Lucas Oil was definitely a very different, very tricky surface to drive on. This track is a little bit more used to what like a normal mile would be, you know, an oval speak, I guess, as far as, you know, it's very flat. A little bit loose getting off the turns, which lets you go a little bit faster. A lot of drivers prefer it to be loose. It's more so than not, loose equals speed. The only mile oval that is not that flat, however, is the Monster Mile at Dover. that was just a little bit more banked than these guys here at the Milwaukee or New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and the longer we get into these stints, the more we'll see remnants of like or resemblance of New Hampshire. I'm sorry. You'll see, they're running about half a lane to a lane up off the bottom, which is what you do in New Hampshire. You run pretty much the middle lane around New Hampshire. And as these tires wear, you want to save those tires, kind of still make some lap time with what you got. It's probably what you're going to end up doing.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if they, if we were able to catch it at the beginning of the broadcast before we went offline, but the reason that they do want to run that little bit higher line is because they want to try or turn the car without pressing the gas, so they save that right front a little more. It also allows you to get back on the gas and make the straightaway longer, so to speak, so you get a little bit more speed and can get runs on the guy in front of you.
Right. I believe we did, but good thing to reinforce that that ideology there and kind of help the understanding a little bit for what we got.
Oh, the 18 really high into turn one allows the 93 to get underneath him. He's going to cover, but he almost contact in the rear there. He does get the crossover move and is in those inside going into turn 3 and 4.
Side by side, the 18 down low, but core up high. You make it sick. They're slowing each other down, trying to fight off one another. Looks like McClune will get the spot there off of turn 4.
Yeah, it looks like finally the 93 just had to sacrifice the spot. It was getting a little too loose being up that high coming off the turn.
Fourth rages is on. Devin Smith, Tyler Markle, and a new player. Let's not forget about Seth Berger, who was the Outlaws Series champion on NASCAR Heat 3 back on season 5. Oh, he just blinked out. He's still blinking.
There he is. He's back. Maybe just a little glitch there in his in the connection that happens from time to time. As long as it's not constant, then he should be okay.
Right. Oh, and around goes the 7 on the back straightaway. Wow. Wonder what happened there. See if we get a replay.
He gets it back going.
Right, and he just got loose all by himself. He was off the racing surface. So no yellow.
Yeah, it seems before the administration officials of iRacing could take a look, he was back going, so no caution. That's really going to hurt his chances in this race. It does look like it's another possible walkaway for the 88 now, as main challenger Malenko makes a mistake trying to push a little too hard to get by that 81 of Max Service.
Yeah, he had the position, and I mean, Coffee had such a big margin. I think at that point it would have been, just nice to maybe back it down, secure the spot you have, and maybe go for, strategy or hope for a yellow at that point, because 4th second would have been a large margin as it is, and now it's an even larger margin. He's going to have to cool off the tires, hope for a couple yellows to fall his way to get back into the swing.
Yeah, and spinning it around like that, it does heat up all sides. Hopefully, he didn't use up the left sides too much. Maybe he can try and do a 2-tire stop here. The next caution, make up a lot of these positions, but he is sliding an awful lot coming into 3. So I'm not sure if he's maybe used up these tires because of that spin.
All right, so back to my point about Seth Berger. That is PSN was our champion a couple of seasons ago on the Outlaws Cup Series on NASCAR Heat 3. So glad to see him back. This is actually his first preseason race with us in the Outlaws. I'm glad to have him back, have him fighting once again in races. Actually, not doing a bad job in the top 5 out of virtue of the 7's mistake, but still up here, and he's battling with Markle and Devin. And glad to see him. He's fast. Actually, what cost him out of a chance at fighting for this past season's title on NASCAR Heat 4 was primarily his internet issues, not being able to complete races, missing out on valuable stage points and finishing points and everything. And hopefully it doesn't bite him here on iRacing. You can see he's Blinken is not really his best friend, but he's still being scored on the lead lap and all. That's good as long as you don't get. As long as you don't blink out across the start-finish line for a long period of time, you should still be scored. So hopefully he still is. And he's not losing connection to the server, so he'll be able to still fight.
While back in the pack, the 48 has caught the 93 there. This is a good battle for the 10th position, or for the 9th position.
Yeah, good little battle going on back here. The only other one on track would be the 18, but yeah, as the 48 of Velzy to the inside of the 93. Hold on and clear side by side down the front straight into turn 1. Looks like Velzy has preferred line. Will the 93 go for the crossover?
He tried to take a look there, but the 48 just had way too much speed coming off the turner, and he opens up a big gap between him and the 93 as they go into 3 and 4. Now the 79 of AJ Brechette is trying to get at the 93. Maybe the 93 has a little bit of overheated tires, so trying to take advantage of him right now.
May have something for St. Cord here. Turn 1, he'll drive it in deeper. Cord trying to get a much needed arc into the corner, but Brechette just kind of sending it off into the corners, kind of straight lining into the corners, which is still, you know, a viable way to get around the track. It just you're using up your tires a little bit more. Look at Brechette all over the back bumper of that 93.
Yeah, he's doing a little bit different tactic than what we've seen the leaders do. Again, yeah, that might be using up his tires a little bit more, but he does see that 88 is only about a straightaway behind him, so it's kind of get up and go time, get up on the wheel, try and keep it on the lead lap.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's giving the 88 a little bit, probably more than the 88 wants to handle right now. He does have a giant lead out front, about 5 seconds, but he is losing time because the 13 does move up the racetrack, coming off of 4 real quick. That allows the 88 to get by him coming to the start-finish line.
Yeah, and it's hard, you know, and maybe this is just out of fun, but you know, the Doug Solms, he's trying to learn the track hard. He's trying to, you know, be here week in, week out, be competitive. Again, just a tough racetrack. It's a weird one. NASCAR hasn't come here in over 10 years now, I believe, and I mean, it's just an odd oval. Just feeling it out, and you know, unfortunately, Kossi just has a lot of time on the service, and it's just much more adaptable to maybe a track he hasn't even been to. I mean, who knows how long he's probably had the track. And if he fought last week at Friday, definitely helps out a bit.
Yeah, a few of these guys are new to iRacing. With the exposure that iRacing got on the Fox broadcast during the COVID-19 lockdown situation, a lot of people have picked it up, myself being one of those included. Decided to pick it up, give it a try, and just fell in love with it. It's a great service. If you have a chance to try it out, I would highly recommend it. I haven't really found any other racing game, maybe F1, but yeah, this one by far is the best. I mean, it's not really a game. It is a simulator. The car handles really much like it should in real life. You don't have the G-forces necessarily, but through the force feedback on your steering wheel, through the pedals that you have on the floor, it does give a little bit more of a, you know, that sensory feel, so you can get the feeling of what driving a real race car would be like.
Most definitely. I think you know, the exposure iRacing got allowed us to make this transition. Otherwise, we'd probably still be on Heat 5 right now, and I wouldn't have Devin next to me. We would just be cranking out on whatever thing is being put out there from 704. I mean, it really is night and day, and not to knock on 704 too much. I mean, they've, you know, made vast improvements, but it's not it. It's not league friendly. It's not broadcaster friendly until I think Heat 5 they finally put in some sort of lap counter and all. This is just night and day. It's much more enjoyable for me to broadcast, for these drivers to race on. Yeah, again, just, you know, 2020 hasn't been the greatest of years, but it's really opened the door to some different opportunities. Again, you know, everybody really seeing what iRacing's about, other than hearing it from other people who are on the service, who come over to console and say, oh, y'all gotta try this out. Now they really had a firsthand taste at it from the broadcast, and say, hey, I can do that too. I'm gonna pick it up myself. They get yourself a pedal set you may or may not already have from console, and just have a blast on it. It's really allowed us to make this transition, and you'll definitely see the field sizes come to fruition as the season starts, as Pritchett and Velzy and Pritchett and Velzy are about to meet the front bumper of the 88 car very soon.
Yeah, it does look like they were pushing very hard. The 93 actually drove it very hard into the turn and got up into the wall in turn 3 and 4, and that allowed the 48 to get by him. This has been a good battle back in the pack for 9th place. Or sorry, for 10th place. Oh, there's a big checkup by the 48. Drove it in a little too hard. Does look like the tires are getting a little warm. Maybe these guys are getting tight coming into the turns.
Well, let's see. How long has it been since our pit stop? These drivers have gone 43 laps on their set of tires, also including the caution laps. So we'll be seeing pit stops soon. Maybe in the next 10 to 15, we should see drivers maybe start hitting pit lane.
I think so. The 88 of Andrew Cossey does put the 79 a lap down. He's now working his way up to this battle between the 48 and the 93.
I think St. Court got the grass there in 3.
Does look like that. Yeah, he did. St. Court, yeah. Velzy just trying to hold his line as the 88 approaches. I wonder if these guys are going to let him go easily or want to try and keep it on the lead lap here.
Lingerfelt to the inside of Berger for 6th. Can he complete the pass off 4? He'll do so with ease.
Ooh, scrapes the wall there a little bit.
No harm, no foul. Short track racing, not all about the aerodynamics. Back here, everybody's now going one down except St. Court, fighting for his life up here, trying to stand the lead lap. Maybe a caution falls right now would really help him out.
Yeah, the only caution we've had, I guess, was when we were off air, was the 33 got a little loose. He was already a lap down, got loose getting off a turn, came right down the track in front of the 71 machine, and was unfortunate to be collected in that. Took the front end off the 71 machine. He's still riding around, but he is multiple laps down.
Yep, and St. Court will go 1 lap down, leaving 8 drivers on the lead lap for Joseph Cossey and co.
Cossey now has a little bit of open track. The 71 is coming up. He's not going to put up much of a fight, as we said. He has no front end, so he's probably just going to let the 88 go. The next car on the lead lap will be the 18 machine of Joshua McClune.
Yeah, he's just kind of feeling this out. McClune was very, very fast on console, and the transition to iRacing, it's been a little fun. He did win the Talladega preseason race, but other than that, it's been a rough one. Trying to find that speed, and really trying to come to grips with the service. Hopefully, it'll come more to fruition through the regular season.
And as you were saying, everybody playing on console and people making the switch over to iRacing. iRacing does sell itself as a simulation racer, whereas the NASCAR Heat games are more of an arcade racer. The best way to explain it is, arcades are more meant for everybody. The cards are a little bit easier to drive, a little bit easier to handle. Not so much of that loose or tight feeling that you might have in the car. That when, as the tires get worn and everything, having that feeling of the car just does not want to turn. So, yeah, that arcadey feel just makes it a little bit easier for, the everyday person to drive the car around and have fun on a game. Whereas, iRacing, the simulation racer, you really, it's like you're really behind the wheel of the car. You really have to know what you're doing. Even if you don't have a whole lot of experience in real racing,
Something around the pit lane. Sorry to cut you off there.
That's all right. So we see who's trying to take the first pit stops here. AJ Brissett jumps in. looks like he got a good entry there. Like we said, this pit road is very tricky to get into. It is coming onto the front stretch. Just a very awkward positioning.
We'll see. He was one down, but we'll see if he'll bring anybody else in his little group that he had with the 48, the 93, and co. The 13. We'll see if anybody else comes down. But right now, the first of the drivers come in. Cossie just hit that magic number 50. We'll see when Cossie comes on in.
Yeah, I think like we said, Prechette was up in the 6th or fighting for the 5th place on the restart there. Was driving very hard and maybe just used up his tires a little more than he maybe wanted to, and just thought it was a little too much to handle. Came down, be a little bit more safe than sorry. Get the fresh rubber, come back out, try it again.
You're the leader, Joseph Cossie, nearly a 7-second advantage. When do you pit? Does your pit even, revolve around anybody else on track?
Possibly the only one that he might be looking at is the 81 of Max Service, just because that is the one right behind him, even though it is the 7-second lead, or actually an 8-second lead now. But maybe you wait for Service to come down, and then as soon as he comes down, just come a lap after him. You really don't lose that much being this far out. So, he can sacrifice, one lap. The tire, he might lose a couple seconds, but it's not going to be enough to maybe hand Service the lead and make Cossie have to fight for it.
Wow, I mean, these tires are starting to really get through these drivers. I mean, it looks like they're crawling around these corners.
Yeah, as we said, it is tricky getting into these turns and also coming out of the turns. Coming into the turns, the back end just wants to step away from you as you put on the brake. So I'm sure these guys have adjusted their brake bias a little bit. You are able to do that in a fixed setup race. So maybe adjusting that a little bit to make it a little tighter on entry at the beginning of the run, and then lowering that brake bias to make it a little looser as the car tightens up when the tires get a little worn. Also on the exit of the turn, it's very, very loose at the beginning of the run. Now we're going to see it become very tight. So the car's just not going to want to turn off when you put the power back on. It's going to want to slide right up against that wall. So the guys are going to have to be very careful coming off the turns.
You're starting to see the precision that's trying to come. I mean, the 81, he slowed his car way down just to make sure he hits the apex. Kind of like the second apex, actually the later apex of the corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can hear the throttle that these guys are putting into it, but they are off the throttle for a very long time at this racetrack. You do have to be patient. You don't want to put the power back on too early. It will, the car just does not want to turn when the tires are in these states, so it will just catapult you right to that outside wall.
Right, so looking to still, looks like St. Croix has made his way to the pit lane.
Yeah, St. Croix was in that battle with the 79 at one point, maybe just a little ahead of the 79, so it looks like the 79 has triggered some green flag pit stops.
Yep, so the 93 is in. Oh, big moment. I believe that was the 42 loose off of turn 4. Let me get around the 79 of Prechette. 42 of Tyler Merkel.
Yeah, you got a guy on new tires and a guy on old tires. You're going to see the 79 just drive right by him as they come onto the back stretch. Those new tires definitely making that 79 car a lot faster than our leaders at the moment.
I seem kind of slice and dice through traffic. There shouldn't be traffic to him on a normal situation, but yeah, he is just flying through these leaders.
And I would like to point out that the 79 was behind the 93 of Andrew St. Croix when these green flag pit stops did start. He did come in a couple of laps earlier than the 93, and he has leapfrogged him in the position standings at the moment.
Yep, Doug Solms into the pit lane. Let's see. Anybody else? He was actually pretty high up the order. Now he comes down. down and away. Already got the 12th position. Let's see if we hold on. 12th. Berger goes on by. Pritchett really slicing through the field now. He's actually catching 7 of Malenko.
Yeah, it just shows that that what the new tires do. I bet you the leaders are taking a look right now at the lap times that the 79 car is putting down. They might want to think about coming in here in a little bit. Maybe that could be something that one of these guys, maybe a little further back, like the 7 car of Malenko, could do. Maybe come in now, get those fresh rubber, and try and leapfrog a couple guys here, you know, by undercutting them.
I'm not shocked that he hasn't come in yet, honestly, because he's usually one to complain that he's not able to really save tires. So you'd think maybe he'd come in a short pit, knowing that that is his case. You just saw Pritchett just going by the 48 of Velzy. We'll see if this brings in the because they were battling for position. And I mean, Pritchett is really just flying around here. He's pretty much going to be on an alternate strategy at this point. How long the rest of the field is staying out here?
Yeah, I think with this strategy, what he's going to want to do is, you know, get as much out of this life as he can. Stay out, hopefully get a caution here. Maybe, you know, get a lap back, then get the caution, so then he'll be in the position for a lucky dog. Right now, Garrett Velzy has that position, or actually, sorry, Josh has that position for the lucky dog. So Pritchett has a little bit of room to make, or a little bit of ground to make up, but he is slicing and dicing. He's almost caught the. As he got around the 7 car here, he's trying to catch the 95.
Right, he's got about let's say 4 seconds or so to catch that 95. But if he catches 95, then I think it's really time for some of these drivers to pit, especially if they're really battling before. And Velzy got the wall. Velzy got the wall in turn 3, and this is
making it now. Yep.
Oh, can he make it? Woo!
And if you watch that, you just see this is a very awkward pit lane to get into. We've said it again. Yeah, I've said it about 3 times already. It's just in a very weird spot. A lot, you know, normally you want to come off of 4 and then the pit road entrance is right there. This one is about, you know, a quarter of the way down the front stretch before the entry, and it's just a little slit in the straight, you know, the straight wall on the front stretch on the inside.
That would have been a penalty in real life, but you know, iRacing, the pit rules are a little different, and you know, we'll play by the iRacing rules since that is what we're on. I wonder if he cut a tire or something. It would be something maybe we have to go back and look at the replay at, but it's just you know, weird time. Maybe he just missed the braking point or something, but very weird what happened there.
Yeah, I think it's just the tires were giving up on him, and he's just had enough. Pritchett is going to get around him. He just goes right by him now. Looks like the 48 does have a little bit of damage that he's trying to fix. It might be a little bit of a lengthy pit stop for him.
Right. Yeah, Joseph Kelsey now to a 10-second advantage. Almost 10.5, actually nearing 11 seconds at some parts of the track. Absolutely dominant. And unfortunately, I don't know what's going to happen when his main competitor kind of falls out of contention with a mistake. He spun it around coming off of turn 2, and pretty much all she wrote. He's hoping for a yellow. Seth Berger goes 1 down. Kossi looking to put Kyle Lingerfelt 1 down. Really killing the motivation of the rest of the field to really even try. It's almost not fair.
Yeah, the 48 is coming down again. He definitely did have some damage. He's going to have to come down again and get that repaired. So that's just going to put him even more laps down. Right now he was about 4 laps down. That's just going to go a little bit further. But yeah, the 88 is definitely running away with this thing. We thought the 7 of Malenko would have something for him, qualifying on the pole, and then also tracking him down during the first stint and passing him. We thought that the 7, you know, might have been the car to beat here, but the mistake, you know, after an awful restart just has pretty much killed his chances.
Not that it's going to mean too much for the overall race until the yellow maybe falls his way, but maybe Devin Smith maybe playing around with some lap traffic. The 79 of Pritchett really closed the gap on the 95, and now Malenko's cut that gap. It was over 4 seconds. Now it's 2.5 seconds, and Les now actually closing out 2 seconds between himself and Devin Smith. So Malenko's still working his way through the field. Maybe he still has a podium in mind.
Yeah, big moment for the 95 car getting into the turn. He saw the 79 come and tried to give him room, and the car just slip and slide like it's on ice getting into the turn.
And maybe that's what's allowing Malenko to catch up here. Maybe Devin's car, he thought maybe he was saving tire, and maybe he wasn't. Maybe Malenko really was saving tire all along, and you can see the driver's struggling for grip now. I mean, granted, you know, 70-something lap old tires aren't going to be fun anyway, as we're on 69 laps on the stint.
Yeah, the fuel can't last much longer in these cars, I don't think. Maybe just another few laps or so, but yeah, the tires are definitely going away. The cars are starting to slip and slide. If they're not careful, somebody might overdrive the current here and bring out a caution.
Yeah, that would I think Pritchett is really hoping he can maybe catch the 88 somehow before that happens, but I mean, that's still a large margin. Now Pritchett has somewhere in the range of 20 lap old tires. Pritchett's actually at 19 lap old tires. 3 wide. That was
It's
close.
like everybody got in a little too hot into that turn. The 93 is able to drive right by that. That helps him out, keeping that place away from the 7 car of Malenko a little bit longer.
Yeah, Malenko is really making some gains now, and that gap is under a second between those two as Devin Smith catches Josh McClune. We'll see if Malenko has anything here in the midst of lap traffic. Really helping out the case for the 7 car. We'll see if Malenko maybe was able to work any deal out with Pritchett here, knowing that they're know each other a little bit better.
77 car of Berger, very slow the last couple turns. He's going to dive into pit lane. I think those tires are absolutely shot. He makes it to pit lane, but yeah, the last couple turns he was right up against the wall, and the turns just could not get the car to turn.
Malenko's gotten by Pritchett now, and Malenko will set sail, try to catch that 95. And maybe if he passes that 95, maybe he'll come to pit lane, maybe some added motivation, say, hey, we can still do this, maybe with some strategy, maybe try to short pit.
Possibly. He's still staying out. Looks, yeah, definitely looks like he's still making up time. He is losing time, however, to the 88 at the moment. So I'm not sure how much longer he wants to attempt this. Maybe try to short pit. Maybe he's a little scared that a caution might come out if he does short pit and trap him a lap down.
Right, and I think with all this lap traffic around, that is a very valid point. Essentially, St. Cor now lurking on the 79. St. Cor has about 8 lap fresher tires. This is a battle for position, actually the battle for 8th. And we'll see they also just got around via 18 of McClune, who's a lap ahead of them in 7th. Several battles going on here. A lot of mind games being played here with strategy. I mean, we're going to be all over the place in terms of strategy. Seth Berger just came off the pit lane. Doug Stone's 14 lap old tires. St. Cor 17 lap old tires. Pritchett 23 lap old tires. Everybody else on 74 or in that area aged tires.
Yeah, 7 gets around the 95 now of Devin Smith. They drove it in very hard into turn 3. Both of them slid up a little bit, and the 95 just wasn't able to hold it as well as the 7 car. Gives up that position and falls behind the 79 of Pritchett as well.
Lingerfeld going 1 down to the 88 of Cossey as we start lap 102 of 225. This would put only 5 cars on the lead lap, and the pass is complete. Markle not too far up the road from Lingerfeld.
Here comes Andrew St. Cor. He's going under the 79 car again. This is for position, even though they are a couple laps down. This is a position for 8th. St. Cor makes that pass on the 79%.
Yeah, and they're pretty much going to be on alternate strategies here. If these drivers go another few laps, they're pretty much going to be halfway fresh tires. By the time the leaders come in for fresh tires, it really is looking like 2 different strategies happening here.
18 car comes down pit road now.
McClune is in. Now this, I think this is really where it's starting to, it's going to start bringing drivers in, because McClune's been on the service a little bit longer. I think he's starting to figure out the tire grip limit, and we'll see how long drivers come in. Cossey getting out around the 42 of Tyler Markle. This would put 4 drivers on the lead lap. This has to be completed.
He takes that, takes and puts the 42 a lap down. I wonder if this is going to bring the 42 in. Maybe he said enough is enough. Let's get some new fresh rubber on here.
Right, so yeah, Cossie, close 42. We'll see. When do these drivers bite? I mean, this is a lot of laps put on these tires.
I do think that a couple of these drivers are a little bit concerned with the lap traffic that's in the race. A lot of guys on different strategies, a lot of different tire management, so a lot of these lap cars are faster than the lead lap cars at the moment. Maybe they're a little worried that a caution could come out and trap them a lap down and take away their shot at, trying to do anything to get up here to Cossie, but Cossie is very good at the...
Oh, 42! Straight up to the outside wall. He just cut a tire.
Looks like he's going to have to come in, I think. But no, he stays out.
One straight in turn 1. If it goes straight into the outside wall, or he has to slow it way down.
He might have just locked up the brakes there.
Possibly.
When the tires get this worn, it is very easy to do.
I gotta think. Now this could be strategy. If we go any longer, these drivers will come in and pit, and then they'll only have to make one more pit stop for the rest of the race.
I will say this. Since the 7 car of Malenko has cleared the 95, he has put a little bit of, or chipped into that lead a little bit of Joseph Cossie as he tries to catch the 2nd place car of Max Service.
Right, what's about 15 seconds. Good eye there. The 7 Berger on fresh tires goes by to 7. Not for position, Berger 2 down.
We got a big gag of cars back here, the 18, 79, 95, all right here together. These are, this is a 1 lap down car with a couple lap down cars.
And a lead lap car. Yeah, this is some grab bag cars up here. Yeah, McClune and Core actually, McClune is now actually on the same lap as Core. And
Prechette. Okay.
And Prechette, Devin Smith on the lead lap. Grab bag of strategy, grab bag of cars up here.
Yeah, the 79 pitted about 8 laps before the 93, and then the 18 pitted about 10 laps after the 93. So you see the fresh rubber on the 18. He just drives right by the 93 there.
I now have to start questioning. Are drivers going to try to make this on one stop?
I think that they'll be able to make it that far. They will have to come down for fuel at least one more time. I just don't know if the tires are going to last that long. Maybe Cossie, I mean, I know he's really good at saving the tires, but some of these other guys, I don't know. We've talked about how Malenko, he's not the best at saving tires, but, he is chipping into that lead just slightly.
I mean, let's be real here. We're 15 laps away from being 100 laps to go. And these drivers, they're 17 laps away from making on 100 laps. If somehow they can go another 15 laps, this could be a one-stop stint.
Quite possibly.
I can't see them going 15 laps, but Cossie, Service, Malenko, Smith, Markle, and Lingerfeld, they're still out there, and with no intent to stop. Either they're going to make this a one-stop stint, or they're going to pit for tires, maybe only pit for fuel to the end or something.
They're going to have to pit for tires. You see the lap down cars here, they're driving right by these guys. If they don't pit for tires, I think they're going to be in very big trouble. Let's see if anyone bites on this lap here. The 7 car does look like he's slowing down.
Yep, here he comes, and somebody else is in as well. Kyle Lingerfeld is in. So scratch all that, but they went pretty far. I mean, they could almost make it to the end. They're going to have to pit like one more time with about 15 to go. And if on that stop, if we stay green and there's that stop, then you know, they could take 2 tires, they could take no tires and try to chance it. Now this is my thing. Seth Berger is out there. I think it was 1 lap down. Where does he come out in relation to the rest of the drivers on the lead lap? Really can be something.
Right, the 7 car completes his stint. He's also brought in a lap behind him, the 42 car and the 81, trying to cover off that undercut. We'll see what happens with Joseph Cossey. He's still on the racetrack.
Along with Devin Smith.
As we say that, Cossey does take the dip into pit road.
If Devin Smith will get a lap led here, but half a lap down. We'll see. He tends to stay out and get some laps led. We are halfway here at the Milwaukee Mile. See if Devin Smith goes another, or maybe this is it. Yeah, even Devin Smith, the strategist himself will not go a lap even to try to get a lap led. So that was, I think, the limit. If Devin Smith is coming in, this is pretty much as far as they can go.
You might have been right with that fuel strategy call. They were probably trying to make it to that halfway point to see if they could try and get this on 1 stop. I think we're going to have to do, like I said, another stop. About 10 laps to go. That's going to bring in some real strategy calls, you know, if these guys can stretch the fuel mileage or, you know, make the tires last that long without a caution coming out. I will say with all the different strategies, these drivers have been very, very forgiving of each other, you know, letting the faster car go. That's nice to see, you know, with all these different lap cars on different strategies than our leaders.
Absolute mess. I mean, the pack of cars that there is. Look at this. Tyler Markle, Max Service, Kyle Lingerfeld, Seth Berger, all in a pack up here.
Yeah, they're all right there together.
That being said, the last tire here on the set of tires, they from the caution, they gained from the caution is Jeremiah Stutzman, who's running severely off the pace, 4 laps off of the race lead. That being said, we're going to go ahead and take a little break and let you listen to the sounds of these cars produced by iRacing. Let you enjoy the engines in peace for a bit. And we bring you back to coverage here at the Milwaukee Mile. Just kind of letting y'all hear the sounds that iRacing's able to produce with these cars. Looks like there was an incident on track. Doug Solms had a problem on the back straightaway, and actually 2 drivers just fell out of the race. St. Cor and Seth Berger just falling out of the race. Seth Berger, we thought maybe it would be just a blink, but he's entirely gone.
Yeah, I think also Cor received a throughput, so possibly just internet issues between them two.
Yeah, but something we were noticing was the 7 of Malico really closing the gap on the 81 of Max service there on that little intermission we had and the engines themselves.
Yeah, he was about 16, 17 seconds behind, maybe 15 seconds right before the pit stops. He's now down to just under 14 seconds behind. He has gained a lot on the second place car, 81 of Max Service. Oh, the wreck on the front stretch, 42 around.
Oh, and he's towed it. Let's see if we can get a replay of it. Looks like he was all by himself. Low out of 4. Yeah, he just lost it by himself.
Yeah, you get, these cars get very tight the longer you run on them. So you've been running on a very tight race car with old tires for so long, and then you put the new rubber on and it's loose again, and that can trip up a driver from time to time, even one with the talent of Tyler Markle. So it's just sometimes it'll catch you out. It's unfortunate. Hopefully he can get back in the race and just run it out to the end, but yeah, very unfortunate there.
Yeah, looking at the lap time sheet right now, Malico is the fastest car on track. He's a 10th faster than Joseph Cossi and 2/10 faster than the 81 of Max Service. So this is really shaping up. We see Malico on the interval there on the left-hand side of your screen, top left-hand side of your screen, get down to about 13 seconds the gap at some points on this racetrack. And he's really digging. Yeah, he's brought down to 14 even across scoring loops. 13-9 there, the gap.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we've just received word that the 42 of Tyler Markle's damage was a little bit too unrepairable, so he has dropped out of the race.
Yeah, I mean, that was a heavy hit. It knocked the toe out and everything. The wheel's going to be facing a degree it shouldn't be facing on the straightaways. And they done. It sucks sometimes, again, this is a preseason race, but this is definitely what the league races are going to feel like. They're going to feel like a race of attrition, a race of endurance. As we get down to double-digit laps remaining, 99 laps to go at the Milwaukee Mile. Right at the end of the tunnel, except Malico, he wishes the tunnel was a little bit longer.
Yeah, he is driving angry right now. I think he's a little bit upset with himself with the 2 mistakes that he's made, with the horrible restart after the caution, and with the spin out that he had trying to battle the person that he's getting close to right now, Max Service, earlier in this race.
Right, and we have the league owner watching it. He's not necessarily commenting in the chat, but kind of dropping the spots here. This race, it's been pretty clean. But the length of the race maybe was a little too long, and that's what preseason's for. Still feeling stuff out, and granted we're all new to this. I mean, we just came off the console, and this is all new. You get to play with lap counts and everything. So maybe considering this to be a 200 lap event, 200 miles even, come season time. But to the inside goes the 7 of Malico on the 81 of Max Service, side by side down the back. We'll see what he has in store for the Lowe's 81 into turn 3.
7's not going to give him any leeway either. He's going to keep that nose right underneath him, try and put some pressure on the 81 so he can get this spot and start tracking down the leader here.
Yeah, down the back straight. He was 13.6. The gap at the start-finish line last lap around, still 13.6, but on the higher end, trying to clear this 81 so it doesn't drop any lower. Malico clears the 81. Will he have a crossover? Max Service down the back straight. He's going to follow. He's going to pull. not close enough to make a dive, and this may be battle done if Malenko can keep it nice and tidy from that 81.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with the 81 there. He probably had a good run coming off of the turn there to go on the back stretch. Looks like he maybe just gave that position up to conserve tires a little bit, knowing how bad the tires got at the end of the last run, knowing that he's going to need those tires at the end of this run.
So now the thing is, all those drivers that came down with what, about 85 laps, close to 90 laps on their tires, we're getting to that point where if you pit, you can make it to the end, but nobody would really want to do that unless they're taking the biggest gamble that there's not going to be another yellow.
Yeah, and I think these drivers, took it to the extreme with the fuel load there, just trying to run it all the way out and run it dry, and even that put us to where these guys will possibly have to pit with 10 laps to go. So do you take that chance and pit early? Just try to run it to the end, or do you just run it dry and pit with 10 to go?
Another thing is, if somebody is really confident that we're not going to get another yellow, they can try to split the stint in half and have the freshest tires the entire time. That would really be, it would really be ballsy. You'd have to have some confidence that we're going to stay green, but man, the time you can make up if you did that.
Yeah, that's very true. As we say that the 81 of Max Service is not letting the 7 get away. Lap down car gets a little bit in the way there. The guys are able to get around him though, but yeah, Service is not letting the 7 of Malenko get away from him.
And maybe Service he's learning a thing or two behind the 7 of Malenko. Service is fast, but maybe learn how to take the line a little bit better. Maybe studying what the 7's doing. That time to gap 13.9, high 13.9, almost 14 flat. So Malenko losing a little bit of time, hounding the pressure from the 81, who dives it down low. Keeps it nice and tidy. Slow car, 79 for Chet's, and this is his stop. He will go to the end. I think that's what actually was going on here. Maybe these drivers, they were working like a road course race, working the race backwards on strategy.
Yeah, and AJ Burchett is more of an IndyCar racer, so he does do that road course strategies from time to time. So maybe that's what he was trying to look at. Split those long green flag run in half, try and make it to the end on a long run. Oh, the 71, it looks like he's stopped on track here.
Oh. We got a replay. He was coming off the pit lane, I believe.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, he got the curbing. He kept it down low. He kept it off the racing surface. Did he get back going? He got back going. No harm, no foul, right?
Yeah, no, nothing there. Just one car incident. So the iRacing officials for this racer have already said, one car incidents are not necessarily gonna warrant a caution unless they're in the racing line. This one was down the pit lane. Luckily for him, no one was coming out right behind him. AJ Burchett was coming in at the end there, but I was able to get around him, no problem.
Right, yeah. Us two up here, we have the power to call yellows as well. And yeah, we're not gonna, change the outcome of a race if the car is that far off the racing surface. Definitely though, if they were on the racing line or slid up the track, that would be another story, because that can be a hazard.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's definitely right. Again, still though, the best battle on track at this moment is the battle for second. The 81 of Max Service and the 7 of Malenko. They were making up time. They still are. It does look like you're right. Max Service is learning a little bit of a thing or two from the 7 of Malenko, and they are both trying to track down the 88 of Joseph Cossi.
Most definitely. I would definitely say that Cossi has a 13.4 second lead. Now Malenko's now able to stretch his legs a little bit. Service just kind of hanging tough. Yeah, I think that's what it was. They're both making time up, like you said. Maybe Service understands that too. Now that he's making time up, maybe he doesn't want to pressure Malenko too much where he makes a mistake. Maybe he just follows Malenko, see what kind of time they can make up together. Almost sort of like drafting, but it's a short track. That really wouldn't work out on a short track. But you're faster when you're not having to alter your line. And as I say, that the 81 actually dives it to the inside of the 7.
Yeah, he lets him get back in front of him though. I think it's just the 81 didn't want to give up the run, you know, when he's going faster to kind of keep making up time. He does look to the inside again of the 7, however. Maybe he's saying, hey, well, no, he lets him go again. But, yeah, these two guys are making up a little bit of time. They've lost a little bit there, however, because of the side-by-side racing.
Yeah, it's really gonna, you know, when you have to alter your line, it kills your momentum. It kills the speed you have. You need to be able to kind of run a consistent line. You need to run a clean line if you're going to be making up time at short treks, especially. You got to be precise and it's got to be clean.
Yeah, 7 car got a little loose coming out of 4 there. Was allowed the 81 to kind of get on his outside. Does pull back up. Looks like the 81 is a little better off the turns than the 7 right now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think, you know, maybe Service is a little bit better than Malenko in some parts of the track, but now maybe learning. He's piecing together even a better lap. They're actually losing quite a bit here. Looks like Marco's dropping in, kind of telling us what happened. He said he killed the wall. He would be multiple laps down if he had fixed the damage. So he just said, you know, it's a preseason race, and he's going to drop out of here. He'll be here for the season start, though, next week with the Clash. And we do have to mention these drivers. We maybe not necessarily Devin. Were you in the race? Maybe one of our Talladega preseason races.
I was not. I unfortunately was not able to make any of those, but definitely with the super speedways, anything can happen. So this Clash is going to be very fun. Costi will not be able to run away with that one due to the restrictor plates. These cars are going to be right on top of each other the whole race.
Right, and that was a preseason race. We had about 22 drivers show up just at a preseason race. So who knows what we're going to get for the Clash, which will be an exhibition race more so for the preparing for the season opener and Auto Club. But the Daytona Clash for the Outlaws is going to be a blast. It's so clean again. And it was just the Outlaw guys running the Super Speedway race in a 94 lap race at 94 lap race at Talladega. We had, I believe, only 3 yellows as a series, and that is actually pretty good for these leagues on iRacing. Well, not that one bit at all. And considering it'll be a 40-lap race, and a little bit shorter race, more will be on the line. Maybe but the intensity will pick up. But definitely these drivers, probably some of the best drivers at plate racing as it is. Even if they are new, just kind of learning and to be patient. What you do on console sim racing at plate tracks is you kind of ride around in a line a lot. It's almost like you're in a train most of the race. The outside lane doesn't really work. It loses a lot of momentum if it's not formed up just right, and there has to actually be more cars on the outside lane for the outside lane to even kind of maintain the run of the inside lane at plate tracks on the heat games. But here on iRacing, as long as you're up there, you're in it. I mean, obviously more cars will still be overpowered more, but you don't need more cars on the outside lane to make it stick. You just need enough cars on the outside lane to
as long as you're hooked up right, you could definitely make the outside lane work on this game. Side drafting is a little bit of thing. It's probably not as powerful as it is in real life, but it is a thing in this race and iRacing. So you can side draft the inside line and make up positions that way. I know from experience, I like running the top lane at the super speedways. You can make up a lot of positions if you know how to run it right. We had about probably 4 cars lined up nose to tail, just perfect, and we're able to run down the leader. And they had a train of about 10 cars lined up on the bottom, and we were still able to get up to the lead with only 4 cars. So it just depends on how you line the cars up, which is just like real life. You want the guys, behind you to be right on your bumper. Limit the pulling out if you can, just to cool the car off just a little bit. That is something that these guys are going to have to watch, is their water temperatures. You don't want the car to overheat. Luckily, the Xfinity cars that they're driving don't overheat as much as the Cup cars, but they still do overheat, so you just have to watch those temps. But yeah, it's really going to be a really fun race to watch. I'm glad that that's the first race of the season we'll be able to get it started off right.
Right. And yeah, Auto Club Road Course, that's just gonna be fun. It's gonna be a blast. You know, seeing these guys turn left and right off the bat.
Well, you know, we know you have a affinity for road courses, so I know you're really looking forward to any road course that's on the schedule this year. Maybe not so much these drivers; they are a little bit more difficult to drive, you know, if you're not used to them. But I suppose a few of them are really looking forward to the road course racing.
Yeah, Joseph Cossey. I mean, we had a preseason race at the Pocono, that Legacy Pocono Road Course, and he was an absolute animal. I mean, he's so fast at almost anything on this game, just because of his experience. But yeah, usually I drop out of the booth and I run the road course races, but I think I'm gonna enjoy being in the booth at least, kind of be eye in the sky for the series and run these races, from up here, at least this season. Maybe I'll teach you up here how to produce one of these broadcasts. Maybe I'll drop down and get myself a race or two. But I'm still feeling out the service. I wouldn't want to do that, until I'm pretty confident in my ability on these road courses. It's just so much fun to wheel these stock cars around on road courses, having to take curves and everything, try to get as much as you can out of those rear tires. They're gonna have so much power when you hit the gas.
Yeah, you definitely have to watch it on hitting those curves coming off. Malico scrapes the wall a little bit there, however, trying to push the car a little bit off of turn 4. But yeah, you do have to really wheel the cars, hit those curbs and everything. Like you were talking about the road courses here, you just have to watch out getting all the power. It's really easy with the road course setup for these back ends to go right around and send you, spinning through the grass.
Right, yeah, it's all about precision on here. Even them being big, heavy stock cars, you have to be smooth. And that's kind of been my Achilles heel, and why I broadcast my F1 league more than I run it. It's just because F1 is all about being smooth when it comes to road racing, and there's a little bit of that on here, and that experience will definitely help push things up a little bit. But there's still big, heavy stock cars that just still need a lot of input to get around the circuit, right?
Right, and these cars don't have as much downforce as something, say, an F1 car or an Indy car. So, trying to wheel them around, these left-handers and right-handers, is something to watch. Road courses are fun to watch. I have been racing in a few of them. I'm not a too terribly big fan of racing them, just because it is trying to drive these big, heavy stock cars around those turns. It is something that takes an art form to do almost. The car just does not want to turn like you would think, if you were on an open wheel or a sports car.
Right. Malico's been trying to fend off this 81 for a while. The gap is kind of stagnated at 13.3 seconds. 71 laps to go. Caution not necessarily out of the mix, but definitely what needs to happen. At least they can have any chance at this.
Yeah, the 7 car does have a couple lap older tires than the 81. We're not sure if maybe the 7 spin up a little bit of his tires trying to get around the 81 and track him down as well. So maybe Service was able to save his tire a little bit better than the 7 and is just able to, stay right with him. These guys are trying to track down Joseph Cossey, and I mean, they were gaining quite a bit. It got down to about 12 seconds, maybe just under 12 seconds at one point. Now it's back up to about 14 seconds again, and it's been kind of holding at that point for a good 20 laps now.
Right, yeah, I think the tire level's just kind of evened out, and it makes it hard for these guys to close. I mean, they're now, that last time by, it was a 13-1, so they're still closing a little bit. The difference between Malenko's and Service's tires are very marginal. I think it's a 1 lap difference between Malenko and Service's tires.
Yeah, it's just a matter of if Markle used his up a little bit more, trying to track down the 81 and get around him. Markle is driving it in, to the low side a little harder. Definitely was doing it a lot harder at the beginning of this run like he did the first run. So maybe that had something to do with it. But I think once these tires start getting a little more worn, maybe it's around the 30 lap mark, 35 lap mark, maybe the 7 car, will start to pull away again, as that's what happened on the last stint. He was able to start reeling in Joseph Cossie a little bit.
Right, now down to 12.8 seconds at some points on straightaway. Still 13.2 seconds the gap. Yeah. I mean, we talk a lot about gap. That's really what's going to come down to service. I mean, he's there and he understands the situation here. He knows it's pretty much going to come down to whatever strategy is going to happen between these two drivers. Towards the end of the race is really what's going to dictate what's going to happen here for second place. And that's really all they can really think about. They can try to close this all they want. Cossie's pretty much going to have to make a mistake, or Yellow's going to have to come out.
Yeah, I think Cossie is backed off a little bit, maybe trying to save the tires as much as he can for the end of this run, knowing that he's probably going to run it, run the fuel dry like he did the last time. He's right now stuck behind the 65 of Kyle Lingerfeld, who is 1 lap down at the moment. About to be 2 laps down, but Cossie's kind of letting him, kind of sit there, not really getting by him at the moment.
Yeah, he's just minding, he's minding his own. He knows the gap. He knows what's at stake. Again, he doesn't have to hit the gas until he's on straightaways. He does not have to be trying. He's actually saying the fastest times on the track right now as I say that, but he doesn't necessarily have to put in any work to really seal this deal at the moment. He's kind of in the other driver's hands right now, if they keep it green or not.
I will say, I think the 65 is holding up the 88 just a little bit. The 88 gets a little loose off the turn there.
Whoa! Really loose off the turn there.
Yeah, I think the 88's kind of tired of being behind the 65 now. Definitely wants to get around him. Just not able to at the moment. Maybe the 65 has found a little something, or is just trying to stay that 1 lap down so he can be back on the lead lap should a caution come out.
Right, he would be the lucky dog at this moment, and he still holds true as long as he's in front of that 88. I mean, he'll still be the lucky dog, but getting back on the lead lap, it still holds true. As the battle for second, service finally to the inside of the 7 of Malico, the 13 of Solms, very slow up high, but lets them by. And service back up to second. Maybe Malika can piece something together riding behind the 81, or maybe Malika's tires have just gone to the point where service is just better on this current set of rubber.
Yeah, quite possibly. Like I said, I think that the 7 car just used his up a little bit at the beginning of the stint, really trying to catch the 81. And you see here he drives in very, very hard, to the entry of turn 3. Service a little loose getting off of turn 4 that time. Still trying to collect the car a little bit there. But he is getting off of the turns a little bit better than Malenko at this very moment. That's what was allowing him to stay right behind the 7 car and eventually get by him.
Right, oh, big moment there. The 65 of Lingerfeld has to kind of like duck out of the way. I don't know if he was trying to come to pit lane. No, he was not. He's still out there. But yeah, he lets Cossie by.
I think Cossie finally put enough pressure on him. The 65 maybe got a little air taken off of his rear spoiler and slid up a little bit, and that allowed the 88 to get by. But now the 88 has a little bit of room before he gets to our 4th place car, the 95 of Devin Smith.
Yeah, Devin just he's on the boat. If he can just get a yellow, he can salvage what he's got here. I mean, it's a tough go right now if you're not the 88 of Joseph Cossie.
Yeah, Devin Smith's driven a very quiet but good race. Was up there in second for a little bit, or challenging for second for a little bit, but it seems he's dropped off a little more than Max Service and the 7 of Malico. A little slip there coming off of 4. Just a very consistent race. Even though he is about to go a lap down, he is in 4th. So not a bad day by any means. Just shows how dominant the 88 of Joseph Cossi really is.
Yeah, Devin Smith, we don't think of the driver, when we talk about Devin Smith, we don't think of him being the fastest, but we definitely think of him being the smartest of the field. He definitely is probably the best at strategy, at least on the console side. And here on iRacing, he pretty much is also on strategy side. He's trying anything he can, especially in these preseason races, if it means, going longer on tires than he probably should to get some laps led and hope for a yellow or something to fall his way. But definitely one of the smartest when it comes to strategy.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out as the season goes on. These guys, running, even though Joseph Cossi is out front, the guys are learning. Being out there with him is kind of like, in real life with the Xfinity cars, the Xfinity drivers racing against someone like Kyle Busch. They learn a little bit from him to get a little bit better, know what they need to do to beat him. Malico was giving Cossi a little bit of a run for his money there for a bit. And, that's, just learning from that 88 and learning what he does and how he drives, is just making these guys a little bit better.
Right, I think that's definitely, especially the value of preseason. Malica's actually gotten back by the 81 of Max Service for second position, but yeah, preseason, I mean, it's all about learning. Again, these wins mean nothing but pride. So the fact that you're able to take anything away from these races is definitely what the goal is. I think Malica learned a lot. He learned how hard he can really push on these corners. He kind of knows what can happen on a restart here, and race 7 isn't too far away, only a couple months out, and he'll be back at it with a shot to go for the race win against Joseph Cossi when that time comes.
Right, like we said, the next race, that clash at the clash at Daytona. Again, that's anybody's race. So I mean, even one of these guys, who aren't doing so well or doing so hot, can really use that race to become a confidence builder. As the first race of the season. So, yeah, I mean, next week I know these guys, don't want to have to, win in that particular way, where it's kind of like I don't know, pretty much of a luck win, if you will. But, definitely I know these guys will take any win when they can get it, so.
Here, I think we're reaching about the point where if you want to split this race in half, you're kind of at that point. And I'm not really seeing anyone try to bite on that strategy, not Devin Smith, not anybody. So I think either these drivers, A, didn't think of that strategy, or B, don't think that we still might get a yellow in this. I mean, it's not impossible. There is 8 cars on the track, and all that's needed is for one car to be placed poorly on the racetrack at a wrong time. I definitely could warrant a yellow.
Very slow getting off of 4 there. The 81 gets right back up on his back bumper.
Yeah, this has been going on the whole time. They're pressuring each other, but not too much. They understand how long the race is still. 52 laps to go. There's still a pit stop still to come. Well, these guys are not really saving anything, battling each other. But they're kind of switching lanes one by one. Some corners, Malica's running lower. Other corners, Service is running lower. Vice versa. Kind of failing the tires out. It's kind of hard to run consistent laps this late into a run with these tires. But when you're in this much of a rhythm, they're running about a tenth slower than Joseph Cossi at this moment. But they're running within 5 1,000ths of each other. I mean, that is wicked. 5 1,000ths. I mean, last lap was a 947 for Malico and a 942 for Service. We'll see this time around get very close off the corner, side by side across the start-finish line. That time, not as close.
They're side by side still in turn 2 as they come off now. Let's see if the 7 can get the run. It doesn't look like he can. 81 should be able to clear him before they get to turn 3.
Yeah, we'll see Malenko to crossover. Service slides up into center. Malenko doesn't have anything for him, actually. Now on the exit, maybe a different story.
The back end of the 81 stepped out from him right there, allowed the 7 to get back by. As soon as he slid up and got into, where the track is not rubbered in, it's very slick. And those back tires just started going around on him in the back end. It looked like he was almost dripping.
Still hanging or loose. And this is where Malenko's going to pull here, and this is where Malenko can kind of get into his own rhythm.
Yeah, I doubt Service is going to want to let him do that. He's going to probably try to catch right back up to him, or at least try to give him another run for his money.
Oh, here he comes to pit lane.
No, he might be trying to do that that half and half strategy that you were talking about. Let's see if maybe that brings the 88 or the 7 to pit lane.
This definitely could attract the eyes of the 7. I'm not sure the 88 is really too focused on this, but we'll see how long Malenko stays out there. Solms was in as well. Solms is 9 laps down. Let's see, Malenko stays out there. Here he comes to 3 and 4. And
looks like
yep.
Model, and he's coming in.
And this could be the deciding factor here. Service is going to get a little bit of a gap here. Malenko may be able to chase him back down. We'll see what the outcome is off of pit lane. Who's able to have a cleaner pit stop?
And the 88. Oh, he's not looking to be outdone. He's going to dip into pit lane as well. Oh, catch the inside wall just a little bit as well as he came in.
Wow. Let's go ahead and take a little replay of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much damage he got there. It might be a little bit significant. We'll see how long his pit stop takes, if he's going to repair that damage or try and drive with it.
We'll see. Nice little slope. Now they going around to the left sides, down and away.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to repair anything. Just going to try and drive it like it is till the end. We'll see if that slows him down at all. He did hit the inside wall just a little bit. I can see a little bit of damage just above the left front tire. Hopefully it's not anything that'll cut the tire down or hinder any of the turning ability of that car for the rest of this race.
Right. Malenko, the gap between himself and Kossi, it'll have to readjust at the start-finish line here. But Devin Smith is still out there. He's trying to play some strategy himself. He's definitely going to be the driver to go as long as he can. We'll see if he's still keen on doing that, considering he's not the leader. Usually when he does this, he'll come out as the leader, but Kossi's just so much faster. He actually, prevented Devin from even doing the undercut and getting a lucky yellow. Like that is wicked.
Yeah, it looks like the 95 is going to stay out. Yep, he's still going to stay out. So he's probably going to try and, do a little bit different strategy than these guys. Instead of cutting it in half, maybe try and run it as long as he can. See what happens. Maybe a caution will come out, and these guys can come back down pit road, and he'll be sitting pretty in second place.
Right, they're going to probably go pretty long, but he's probably hoping for a late race yellow at this point before he has to hit pit lane to force the other drivers to come in with fresh tires.
The first caution came out at lap 25, and everybody dipped down pit road at lap 25. Ooh, the 95 a little loose coming off 4 there. But everybody did dip down pit road at lap 25, so maybe even if they run 25, 30 laps and a caution comes out, we might see everybody just come in for fresh rubber.
That's going to be about the time it's going to have to come out for Devin to even make it unless he's really saving. But again, they only won about 85 laps, and Devin has been out there for, check right here, he's been out there for 6. He's going to need a caution to come out in the next 15 laps or something to fall his way.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, we have lost about half the field. A couple guys, with wrecks and damage that just was irreparable and just couldn't be completed. A couple other guys, possible maybe engine or internet issues with their computers or their cars. So, like you said, a race of attrition. You just gotta it's a long race. Got to race it to the end. Just, make sure everything is good to go.
Woo, Devin letting her rip on exit here. He's losing a lot of time here. Malika's going to catch him in no time.
Yeah, he's definitely catching a lot faster. 31.5 the last time around for Malenko. Last time around for Devin Smith was a 33.0, so already a second and a half faster. The 7 car is over the 95.
Right. Kyle Lingerfeld back into the lucky dog position. Lingerfeld just trying to get one of them lucky yellows, but we'll see. We'll write this one out. One more time, we'll let the engines kind of speak to you. The engines speak their mind. So just trying to find anything different than what Fox calls it to avoid that copyright. But yeah, let's let the engines speak for themselves, shall we? We'll be right back. Welcome back, race fans, to the Milwaukee Mile. We're here. 35 laps to go. 35 miles remaining here at Milwaukee. We're at the final preseason test race of the Outlaw Sim Series preseason. Then we'll get to business next week with the Clash at Daytona. And then, after that, the following Wednesday will be the season opener at Auto Club Road Course. It's going to be a blast, to see these guys turn left and right off the bat. During the intermission there, the 65 Kyle Lingerfeld made his way into the pit lane, got a fresh set of rubber, and was down and away. Malenko has made his way around V95 for second position. 13 seconds the gap between Malenko and Kasi. We'll see how long that stays.
Yeah, I know the 7's going to be pushing as hard as he can. He knew how much he used up the tires there. 30 laps to go. We're getting towards the end. He's got to, give it all he can now, or pretty much just settle for a second-place finish. And just knowing Malenko, he might know in the back of his head that that's all he can muster, but he's definitely going to drive the wheels off of it to get there, even though, just to prove the point that he can.
I mean, yeah, the gap's now down to 12.9. That's about the closest it's been all race since he's spun out. So, you know, he's working. It was 17 seconds, but man, 5 seconds and over 125 laps is that's tough to swallow.
Yeah, but I don't think give up is in his nature. You know, even though he might know it that he's stuck there, he's still going to give it all he can just to try and maybe get a moral victory, try to get it back to like maybe 7 or 8 seconds, maybe consider that a moral victory.
Right.
Race and prepare him for the regular season, knowing that, hey, I can catch up to this guy.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's mainly what this is going to be about. This is going to be about how much can he really, how fast is he really compared to Kossi. And this is another thing, him and Kossi are pretty much in clear track, and this is really letting them kind of speak their mind against each other, or show their skill against one another without actually battling one another. Kind of an odd way of duking out against one another is on the same track, same conditions, same obstacles in terms of lap traffic and all. Kind of see how you fare.
Yeah, and Malco has now dipped right to the 12-second mark. It does get back up to about 13 in the turns, but on the straightaways he is about 12 seconds away from Joseph Kossi.
Yeah, he's really dipping it down there. He's hoping he can muster something up or something to follow his way. Other than that, this is again all preseason, all preparation for what's to come in the regular season. I know he's hyped for the Auto Club road course because, like myself, he's pretty good at the road courses on the console games, but ready to get his feet wet in one of his first league races at road course on a road course. I believe his first league race on a road course, was the Street Stocks at Charlotte, in our Street Stock series that we kind of had. But I think tomorrow will be his first real league race at a road course. Will be tomorrow. He'll be doing the Josh White Racing Esports ARCA Driver Development Series at Mid Ohio. That one should be a blast. Myself, I'll be partaking, hopefully, pending availability, in the Mid-South Madness race on Sunday evening at the Charlotte Roval in these Xfinity cars. That would be a blast if I'm able to do so. I love the Charlotte Roval, and yeah, I can't wait if I get that opportunity. Nonetheless, our first real opportunity at road course, seeing the skill set, will be the Outlaws Sim Series at Auto Club in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it will. And as we were talking about this, Devin Smith does dip down the pit lane. It looks like he's finally had enough of the tires. 26 to go, sorry. And yeah, he dips in, gets the fresh rubber. We knew he couldn't make it to the end, so pretty much ran it till the very end as he could, and dips in now to get the fresh rubber, make it to the end. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be in that race on Sunday night for the Mid-South Madness league race at the Roval. I'm part of one of the teams there. Yeah, we look forward to having you. Hopefully a spot opens up so where you can join us. I know, like I said, I'm not too keen on driving these cars on road courses. I'm not bad at it, but it is a lot different than driving an open wheel or a sports car at them, which I greatly prefer. These big heavy monsters are just a little bit harder to wheel around these the lefts and the rights than I really want to do.
Oh yeah, I mean it definitely. I mean, like you said, they're big and heavy, and they're meant for ovals. They're not meant for road courses. But man, when we take them to road courses, they can definitely be fun.
It definitely will be a fun race to watch. I'm pretty sure a lot of spins are going to be coming our way during that race, but hopefully none for me or for you if we're in it. But yeah, definitely will be an interesting race for sure. Yep.
I can only imagine what's going to be happening. Devin Smith, the series schedule that was picked by the Outlaw admins at that time. Devin Smith was one of them. He had the first pick, and he ended up picking Auto Club Road Course. I was like, well, that is an oddball pick, and I love it. It's wacky. It's cool. It's it's an insane course. It is, you know, a great roval mix. So Auto Club Road Course, Devin's pick. We'll see how he does at it. Joseph Cossey again, pretty good at almost anything on this on the sim. Malenko, pretty good road racer that I know of. I know Marco and Pritchett are I know him a little bit more personally, and I know Marco at least is pretty good at stock cars and road courses. Pritchett really big into IndyCar. Yeah, so we'll see how all that falls. And then all the drivers we're missing about half the grid that will be there in Auto Club. We'll see what kind of skill is brought up when it comes to season time.
Well, I know they'll all show up for the Clash, so we'll get to see the entire field there. Again, and like you said, we'll also get to see them at Auto Club. This is just a practice, you know, preseason race for the guys to get out here, get some laps, get practice running with each other. That way we'll be ready to go for the season. They'll know exactly, you know, how each other kind of drives, you know the style of driving from each other, so we can not have as many wrecks as some of these other leagues in iRacing do, just because the guys don't drive with each other as much. But so far, I mean, we've only had one caution this whole race. These guys have really, you know, the lap down cars have really kept out of each other's way when needed. Also, the lead lap cars have kept out of the lap down cars guys' way when they were on fresh tires. Very respectful racing the whole race from all of these competitors.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, 20 laps to go. I mean, now, if anything, would be the time to start racing each other more aggressively. But when they're that early in the race, 170, 180 laps to go, there's no need to be that aggressive and all. I think a lot of drivers understand that, especially since a lot of us came from console league racing. We understand, you know, the ins and outs of racing in that sense. You know, lap cars, the drivers who unfortunately, you know, experience being lapped down on several more times than they like. You know, they understand, you know, the respect that they give to lead lap cars and vice versa. You understand the respect you need to give to drivers who are on fresher tires if you're not, especially if you're not on the same lap as them. If you're on the same lap, well, then by all means race them hard. But
right, and we saw that hard racing between the 7 and the 81 earlier. It does look like after the pit stops, however, the 7 was able to pull out a very big advantage on the 81 of Max Service. But yeah, like you said, stock car racing is a little different than say, you know, F1. The lap down cars, you know, they get the blue flag. They have a couple turns to get out of the way of the leaders, as to not, you know, impact the leaders' race. Stock car racing, you can race the leaders as the lap down car, or as the you know, the car about to go a lap down, to try and keep your position and stay on the lead lap should a caution come out. The only thing is to be respectful about it and not really, you know, take the leader out. Most of what drivers, you know, want from a car that they're approaching to put a lap down is for that lap down potential car to really just hold their line and run their race and let the leader figure out a way to get around them, and, you know, not try to, you know, throw a curveball at them as they're coming at you and then take both of you out. You know, a guy who is going to potentially win the race and, you know, yourself. So it's a little bit different, like we said, than F1. But, you know, stock cars, I like the lap down rule in stock cars a lot more. I want to see the guys fight and try to keep their position a little bit longer, but just not, you know, try to take each other out.
Right, I definitely agree. Especially if a driver's about to go one lap down, I think that's the most appropriate time a lapped car should fight the leader. Other than that, you know, I look around the pond to fight the leader so hard if you're like 3 laps down. Yeah, there's no there's no place for that. But if you're like going only 1 lap down right there, yeah, by all means, you know, that can make or break your race. You know, so by all
exactly.
means.
And you never, like you said, you never know when a caution is going to come out in these races. So those you know, the guy, if you're about to go 1 lap down, you definitely want to try and stay ahead of them as long as you can. Should a caution come out and, you know, save you, and then you can get right back up to the leaders, and you're, you know, not in danger anymore.
Especially if you're a lap car and you're only running about 5 miles per hour off the pace, all the leader really can ask for you to do is be predictable. Don't necessarily have to move out of the racing groove, but be predictable enough, especially at tracks that there is more than one groove, that you can, you know, maneuver around them. You know, if you're, you know, changing lanes every lap and being unpredictable, I mean, it gets very difficult, and then the leaders would definitely rightfully get heated, as you're just kind of being a hindrance to the race. Is that Devin Smith back on the pit lane?
Yeah, he came back down pit lane. I was trying to figure out why. It looks like he might have had a little contact with the wall, possibly. Maybe just scraped it. Maybe he had a tire going down. I'm not too sure. Yeah, the right side of that car is, the back end of it looks a little crinkled. Maybe he did get to the wall a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's going to hurt his race. He did have 4th place locked up pretty tight, but that's going to give Kyle Lingerfeld and Joshua McClune a chance to get in front of him, as both of them are the same amount of laps down as he is at this point.
Yeah, McClune just went by for 5th. He's going 3 laps down right there.
Yeah, that definitely hurt his race. Maybe, like we said, the tires get very, very tight on the long runs, and then when you come out of the pits and you're on fresh rubber, the car's very loose again. So maybe it caught him out, and he was scraped the wall a little bit with the right rear there. Maybe had the tire going down, and then comes back in because he has a tire rub again, felt the tire going down again.
Yeah, definitely. Talk about mind games and moral victories. So Mallon go down to a 10.5 second deficit to Joseph Kossi. At one point it was 17 seconds. That is absolutely wicked what he's trying to do.
Yeah, definitely a moral victory. I don't think he's not going to be able to catch him unless there's a caution here. But yeah, getting it down to under 10 seconds, I'm pretty sure Malenko is going to feel very, very happy about that, even though he did make a couple mistakes earlier in the race.
All right, well, with 10 laps to go here in Milwaukee, coming around to 9 laps to go, Joseph Kossi's been the talk of the town, and he's pretty much been the talk since the most recent green flag, and the green flag before that, well, it was him and Malenko. Malenko really was his only competitor from the start of the race, and has shown he's really the only driver who was even coming close to Kossi lap times. Ran even faster than Kossi at points on that first stint, then got caught out in pit stops. Kossi beat him off the pit lane, put him in the not so preferred line. Malenko got caught out on the restart, spun himself out. It was pretty much a spiraling series of events. Just an unfortunate series of events that just kind of led him to fall out of contention for the win. And maybe one thing or another, he could have done without the spin, and I think he still would have been, had a good shot at it, especially how much time he's gained now. It's down to 9.8 seconds. Kossi's really not pushing at all. I mean,
yeah, he does have quite a bit of a lead. It does look like his lap times are right around the 32.7 mark. I'm just going to take a look at Malenko. He's at the 32.5 the last lap, so about 0.2 a lap Malenko is gaining on him. Again, we're not sure how much Kossi is pushing at this point, just because he does have such an extensive lead. He can kind of sit back and ride this one out to the end, as we only have 7 laps to go.
Yeah, Kossi's game plan here is just not crash the car. Not have a yellow, not crash the car.
Well, he also had that damage, remember, on the left side of the car, so maybe that's affecting him a little bit. We just don't know.
9.4 seconds of gap. Now Malenko's really closing the gap. It's a little too late. 9.2 seconds. Oh. Is there something, maybe a miss on the 88? Oh, 6 laps to go.
32.8 the last time around. Malenko just ran another 32.5.
Oh, the 13's in a bad spot. Got around him. Oh, very odd timing. Maybe just Kossi either is really backing off the pace to make it look closer, or something really is a miss on that 88. 5 laps to go. Maybe just trying to bring it home.
It could be. Just knowing that all he has to do pretty much is just stay out of the wall and navigate a couple of these multiple lap down cars without causing too much of a stir. So yeah, maybe he is taking it just a little easy, just to nurse the car home after that incident on getting into the pit road. I will say that the left side of that car right behind the front wheel is pushed in just a little bit. I'm not sure. Arrows shouldn't matter too much at this track, but you just never know if, that does have a tire rub and it's slowed down to, keep that tire from going all the way down.
4 laps to go here. Malik has brought the gap down to 9.4 seconds. At some point, our ticker actually said, yeah, 7.8 seconds there. I mean, I would really put a smile on his face to know he's brought it down 10 seconds over 150, 200 lap green flag run. Actually, yeah, it's going to be it's going to be just shy of 200 laps this green flag run because we went green at about lap 30. So about 195 laps. 3 laps to go. Should we make it to the end? The next 2 laps have to go green. Not really a soul close to one another on track.
Yeah, it looks like the 95 of Devin Smith has parked the car. Maybe just a little too much damage. If he did get into the wall, I'm really not sure what happened with that car. But yeah, he made a couple of strips down pit road, and it seems like they just parked the car for the rest of the race.
Yeah, 8.7 seconds of gap from Malenko. Gonna be 2 laps to go, 2 miles remaining here at the Milwaukee Mile, coming around to a mile and a half for this 88 of Joseph Cassi. Not a soul close to one another. Coming through turns 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. 13 of Doug Solms stays way out of his way. 1 lap to go here at the Milwaukee Mile for Joseph Cassi. Will he be able to bring it home?
Yeah, another absolutely dominating performance so far by Joseph Cassi. Half a lap to go as he's trying to get 2 in a row here in preseason and enter the regular season on a huge high note.
Yeah, only one more real preseason event, the exhibition race, the Daytona Clash. Joseph Cassi heading into the Daytona with a lot of momentum, heading into the regular season with a lot of momentum as he'll win in absolutely dominating fashion here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Malenko will cross the line in second place. He got it down to about 8 seconds there at the end.
Yeah, that's definitely going to help the motivation here. And finishing P3 on the lead lap, max service. Everybody else, it was an absolute cluster following the rest. Kyle Lingerfeld 2 down, Joshua McClune 3 down, Jeremiah Stutzman 10 laps down, Devin Smith 14 laps down, Doug Solms 17 laps down, Anthony Pritchett 61 laps down, Tyler Markle 104 laps down, Seth Berger 106 laps down, Andrew St. Cor 107 laps down, Garrett Velzy 136 laps down, James Gilliard 199 laps down. The 88 Joseph Cassi burns the house down on the French straightaway.
And it looks like a packed virtual house here in Milwaukee. No social distancing in the virtual world, so the fans are there, virtual fans there enjoying Joseph Cassi's win.
Let's see if we can get an interview or 2 from some of these drivers still here. Normally we'll have max service, so we'll tap in with a second place finish from Malenko. Hey Malenko, this is the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Alright, so not the race you wanted, especially with such a strong showing in the beginning. What happened?
Just bad restart. Got back to I think 5th. Driving through, I got through Markle, Devin. Got underneath Max, kind of let me by. Got drifted a little bit too high. Went over a seam. Got on the gas too early. Kind of half spun into the grass. Went pretty far back. I think it was far back as 10th.
Yeah, Go for it. My bad.
Oh. And then when I finally got up to second, I was 14 seconds back when I got to second, 14 or 15. Able to get it down to 8 there. So it was definitely the fastest car. Just screwed myself.
I was definitely gonna say at that point, what was kind of going through your mind? You understanding it's a preseason race, were you just kind of trying to see what you could do, or hope for yellow and see what happens, or what was the game plan pretty much from when you spun out? What was going through your mind?
What the game plan was kind of just see how since I knew I was faster than most of the cars ahead of me, I wanted to see how it was to pass late in the run and stuff like that, and how difficult it got over the long run. Just test some stuff, seeing if it's a track that's kind of hard to pass at.
This track coming up pretty early in the schedule. How you feeling about maybe a redemption run here in about 8 weeks?
Oh, it's looking pretty good if I can keep up this pace. Hopefully, well, I know Joseph, people like Max Service probably going to get a little bit, quicker. Probably put in some practice. So don't know. We'll see when we get there.
Right on. Well, congratulations on the second place finish. Definitely, probably you drove the hardest today. You were definitely the fastest. You said 15. I think the gap was at 17 seconds at one point between you and Kasi. By the time you got the second, I think it did down to 15. But yeah, you brought it down to 8.3 seconds there at the end. Not the result you wanted, but I'm sure that gap deficit changing to 8.3 seconds is definitely something to smile about on your way out. So congratulations on the second place finish. Good luck to you heading into the regular season and the Clash next Wednesday.
Thank you.
All right, and that's going to be the 7 of Malenko. Let's see if we can bring in the 88 of Joseph Kasi. Do you have a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, another day, another dominating performance. How was it?
How should I say? Very enduring.
It seemed like a race of a there, with as long as it was, and a very, very long green flag run, including two green flag pit stop runs there. I saw you get into the wall on one of those. Did it hurt the car any on that end of the run there?
No, actually, the only time, I don't know if y'all seen it, but that last pit stop, the invisible wall apparently hit the inside wall, as I came in.
Yeah, that's what we saw.
Okay.
We were actually riding with you right when that happened. Did that affect that front left at all of the car? Or?
If it did, it was very minor. I couldn't tell.
All right, well, way to hang on to it. You did have quite a bit of a lead, so luckily that was there for you to pull that win out. But great drive. Are you looking forward to carrying this momentum into, say, Daytona and then to the first race of the season at Auto Club?
Oh, definitely. So I've got it. I'll tell you what. Here, I got it certain Malika's gonna win this race. If he don't mess up, this will be his race to win. He's bad fast.
Yeah, he was gaining on you there. Do you think if he wouldn't have maybe had that bad restart and then forced himself into an error, that he probably would have been able to get you here?
Oh, no doubt. He had the car to win. He should have won this race.
Yeah, well, this race comes up very, very, close at the beginning of the season here. So I know he's probably trying to get a redemption run out of it. I know that you'll probably get the practice in to try and maybe close the gap to him so that you can put up a good fight with him. We're looking forward to it. Again, great win. Hopefully we'll see you repeat that at Daytona.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Well, last week we saw Joseph Kasi run away with that short track race at Lucas Oil. This race, I think, would have been a lot closer had Malenko not forced himself into the air there. He definitely, like Joseph Kasi was saying, had the fastest car. I was really looking forward to Malenko putting up a fight with Joseph Kasi. I think that would have been very, very interesting to see, especially with that long green flag run. If anything, I think Kasi has momentum. but Malenko has that moral victory, and then we're going into Daytona for the final, exhibition race, which is going to be, pretty much a luck fest. That could really change, someone's outlook on the season here, going out of a restrictor plate race. So anything could happen there. Really looking forward to it. We'll have a lot more action to call for sure, as far as, on the track, battles for position. So really looking forward to it. I know these drivers are too. Restrictor plates are very fun to drive. I'm looking forward to the white knuckling of the steering wheel from these guys.
Most definitely, Daytona is going to be an absolute blast. Again, if the Talladega preseason race said anything, it's gonna be fun. Very clean racing, but very hard racing. And well, that's gonna do it here from the Milwaukee Mile. Thank you for joining us for this broadcast of the Outlaws Sim Series preseason test race here. Congratulations to our winner, Joseph Cossi. And tune in Wednesday, August 5th at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Outlaws Clash at Daytona to kick off this inaugural season of the Outlaws Sim Series. This has been Devin Zimmerman and Emerson Arnott on the call tonight. We will see you next time here on the Outlaws Sim Series.